Today's video will take you straight into the heart of the biggest shockwave shaking the entire entertainment world. Paparazzi have just captured Dylan Wang and Bai Lu in an unbelievably intimate moment at the airport, footage that fans are replaying nonstop and critics can't stop talking about. What really happened behind those candid photos? Why were they acting so close? And is this the moment that finally confirms all the rumors? Before we dive into the full explosive story, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any breaking updates or hidden truths behind Asia's most talked about stars. Trust me, you won't want to miss a second of this drama. The chaos began the moment the grainy photos hit social media at 6:42 a.m. Beijing time. A series of candid snapshots clearly taken from behind a column near Gate 12 of Guangzhou Baiyun Airport showed Dylan Wang and Bai Lu walking side by side, caps pulled low, masks covering half their faces. At first glance, it looks like any other celebrity sighting. But then one detail sent the entire entertainment industry spiraling into meltdown. Dylan Wang's hand resting lightly on the small of Bai Lu's back, guiding her through the crowded terminal as if protecting someone precious. Within minutes, the posts had gone viral. Fans zoomed in, circled the moment, slowed down the video frame by frame, and the more they examined it, the clearer it became. This was no accidental contact. Dylan seemed unusually attentive, leaning slightly toward Bai Lu every time someone walked too close. In another shot, Bai Lu tugged playfully at the sleeve of his jacket, a gesture so natural and familiar that netizens immediately exploded with comments like, "This is dating behavior," and "No one touches a colleague like that." Witnesses who happened to be at the terminal later came forward anonymously on Weibo, adding more fuel to the already raging fire. One passerby wrote, "I didn't realize it was them at first because they were dressed so casually, but the guy was definitely very protective. He kept adjusting her mask, brushing her hair away from her eyes, and even held her hand when they stepped onto the escalator." Another claimed, "Bai Lu seemed shy. She laughed quietly at something he whispered, and he looked at her the way a boyfriend would." The whispers grew louder when a short, shaky video emerged. In the clip, Dylan and Bai Lu paused near a vending machine. Bai Lu struggled to tap the screen because her hands were full, holding her phone, passport, and a fluffy plush keychain fans recognized from a recent event. Without hesitation, Dylan stepped closer, reached around her, and pressed the options for her, his arm nearly circling her waist. The proximity was undeniable. Bai Lu's eyes widened in surprise before she burst into a shy smile, lightly nudging his arm in what looked unmistakably like affectionate protest. Netizens called it the vending machine moment, the clearest evidence so far that something deeper was going on between them. One fan wrote, "This is flirting 101. If this were just a casual co-star relationship, Dylan wouldn't be leaning in like that." Another shot back, "You don't shield a colleague like a bodyguard boyfriend unless you're dating." But the real turning point came from the final set of photos leaked only 2 hours later. In these images, the pair was seated at the waiting area, their luggage placed casually side by side. Dylan tilted his body toward Bai Lu, listening intently as she spoke. A candid shot caught her covering her mouth while laughing, a soft, relaxed expression rarely seen in public. Meanwhile, Dylan's gaze, even through a mask, seemed impossibly gentle. One photo in particular captured him brushing a crumb off her shoulder with a tenderness that shocked everyone. Fans commented, "That's the touch of someone who's done this many times," and others added, "This is intimacy, period." Paparazzi sources later revealed that the two had arrived at the airport within minutes of each other, but intentionally used separate entrances. Yet, despite the attempt to avoid suspicion, their natural closeness betrayed them. At one point, Bai Lu appeared slightly cold, rubbing her hands together. Without thinking twice, Dylan removed his oversized jacket and draped it around her shoulders. The photo of that moment, his hands adjusting the collar, hers looking up at him softly, spread like wildfire across every Chinese platform and instantly became the #1 trending topic for the day. Insiders, too, chimed in with cryptic remarks. One production staff member who previously worked with both actors hinted, "They've always been close, but maybe closer than people think." Another said, "Their chemistry didn't start yesterday. Something has been building for a while." Neither confirmed nor denied anything outright, but their ambiguous tone only intensified the frenzy. Reporters reached out to both agencies for a statement, but the replies were stunningly identical. No comment. For fans, that silence was louder than any confirmation. Entertainment analysts across social media weighed in, saying that if it were purely rumor, agencies would have shut it down immediately, not let it swell into a nationwide storm. Even more explosive was an eyewitness account claiming the two boarded the same flight, seated only one row apart. According to this source, Dylan glanced back to check on Bailu multiple times. During turbulence, Bailu reportedly reached forward and touched his arm through the gap between the seats, another tiny gesture that fans instantly interpreted as intimate reassurance. Rumors continued to swirl throughout the day. Some fans claimed that after landing, the duo walked out of the terminal together before disappearing into the same black van. Others insisted they parted ways at the exit, but still maintained suspiciously synchronized movements. Every detail, every second, was dissected, analyzed, replayed, and debated across millions of comments. What made the situation even wilder was the timing. Both stars had recently been promoting various projects separately, so their sudden appearance together in Guangzhou raised even more questions. Were they meeting for a private schedule, a secret photo shoot, a getaway, or simply spending time together away from the cameras until fate, or rather, paparazzi, caught up with them? Meanwhile, supporters of the pairing celebrated loudly. "They look so natural together," one fan wrote. "Even if they're not dating, this chemistry is unbelievable." Another posted, "These aren't co-stars. This is a couple caught off guard." As the day progressed, the online frenzy only grew, with fans demanding answers and paparazzi promising to release even more footage in the coming days. Some reporters claimed insider sources had additional videos showing Dylan lightly adjusting Bailu's backpack straps, touching her hair after it got messy in the wind, and even jokingly tugging her closer to avoid a fast-moving luggage cart. None of these scenes were dramatic or exaggerated. They were subtle, intimate, quietly affectionate. But sometimes the smallest gestures carry the loudest messages, and for millions watching, those gestures said everything. By nightfall, one truth had become impossible to ignore. Whatever the nature of their relationship might be, Dylan Wang and Bailu shared a level of warmth, familiarity, and closeness that went far beyond simple friendship. Whether they choose to confirm it or let the speculation continue, one thing was certain: their airport encounter had already cemented itself as one of the most unforgettable celebrity moments of the year. A snapshot of two people whose connection could no longer be hidden behind masks, hats, or denials. But the story did not end when the sun set. As the initial shock settled, netizens began discovering even more hidden clues that suggested Dylan Wang and Bailu's closeness had been developing quietly for much longer than anyone imagined. Fans started revisiting old interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and promotional events, compiling a timeline that was both compelling and unsettling. In one video from months earlier, Dylan was seen instinctively placing his hand behind Bailu's back as they posed for photos on a crowded stage, as if shielding her from the flashes. In another, Bailu absent-mindedly fixed the collar of Dylan's shirt while the stylist was busy preparing someone else. At the time, these gestures were dismissed as friendly interactions between co-stars. Now, through the lens of the airport scandal, they looked like the subtle habits of a couple used to caring for each other in private moments the public was never meant to see. The narrative grew even more intense when a former airport staff member anonymously revealed a detail that ignited new speculation. According to his message, Dylan and Bailu were not simply passing through Guangzhou. They were connecting to a smaller, quieter destination known for its luxury resorts and private villas. The staffer claimed the pair requested seats that were close, but not too close, a strategy commonly used by celebrities who travel together but wish to avoid suspicion. If true, this suggested not only deliberate planning, but a deeper relationship maintained away from the spotlight. Fans immediately began theorizing whether the two were headed for a short getaway, a hidden photo shoot, or even a private meeting with directors or investors. Others suggested an even more intimate explanation. Perhaps they simply wanted a break from the relentless attention of the industry, a place where they could be themselves without masks, cameras, and constant scrutiny. As social media continued dissecting every angle